Morning, guys. Thank you for joining me on this episode of the Track Hall Quest, and we are back out here on the trail. It's a beautiful morning. It's about 58 degrees Fahrenheit. I'm gonna take a sip of my coffee before it gets cold. So we're out here. We're in California, just right outside of Taft. And we ended up here in this area is called the Carrizo Plain National Monument. And it's a beautiful area, a lot of history back in here. There's still quite a bit of cattle out here, so there's a lot of ranchers out here. And like these old structures just kind of scattered about. Probably still used to this day. But we're out here because we're going to go check out this very interesting area. It's called the San Andreas Fault Zone. Been wanting to come out here for a bit. So the fault zone's just down the road here. We're going to go check that out. So it's one of the largest fault zones in the United States, probably the world. So this fault zone is, we have two tectonic plates come together. So I guess the one farthest west is the Pacific Plate. So it's where the Pacific Plate touches up against the North American Plate. So that's what creates them serious earthquakes here in California. You know, you got two plates coming together. The terrain is a little different out here. It's almost like there's hills out here, not quite mountains. It's almost like the plains and the hills transitioning into desert country, because there's still quite a bit of grass, but it is kind of sandy. So it's a very interesting terrain for sure. But love it out here, guys. There's nothing like being outdoors. right, guys, so we are here. We are technically on the fault zone. Might not want to be here for too long, but this is the San Andreas Fault. This fault zone runs from way down Mexico up into Northern California, past San Francisco, and just keeps on going out into the ocean. But yeah, it's one of the longest fault zones, still active. Over here in this doghouse is instrumentation. So they have instruments in there that measure for movement. There's a couple solar panels attached to the outside of the box. Over here to my right, your left, there is a 55-gallon steel barrel, or half a barrel, sunken into the concrete slab here, but currently it's capped off with concrete. I'm assuming this is a measuring device, or at the time when they bored this out, that actually sent a geologist underground. They do that. I used to work for a geotechnical firm, and we would actually bore out these 18-inch diameter holes way down underground, 50, 100, 150 foot, and we would get down in there. We'll send the geologist down in there and make note of all the geology of what's going on, if it's a landslide, which way is the landslide moving, all sorts of stuff. So anyways, guys, that's about it with this. Out here is technically the Carrizo Plain, and it's just beautiful country. It's very dry, arid, open country for sure. It's beautiful, guys. So we're gonna keep on moving to our next spot, and then take it from there, guys. So it's awesome. We got the visitor center right there. So we're gonna keep cruising up this road to it's a known sacred site, and we're gonna go see what that's all about. It's called Painted Rock. No go for painted rocks. I gotta tell you, man, the land grab that's going on right now is insane. Everything's about that buck. They're trying to make money off of everything, guys. So they got a gate at the entrance leading to Painted Rock here in the Carrizo Plains. So you gotta have a day use permit. Once you get that permit, they give you a keypad combination. There's actually a little keypad where you enter the key code, and then opens up the gate for you to access. Well, why? You know, this is public land. Anybody should be able to go in there at any time, right? Especially being taxpayers. So they do have a phone number posted up on the gate, and I call the number. I get put on hold for a bit, right? So finally I get through to this lady, and she's put me on hold for another 15 minutes. So finally she gets back on the line, and I tell her, hey, I just need access, day use access to enter the Painted Rock area in the Carrizo Plain National Monument. And she's like, well, sorry, sir, there is no permits available. The area is booked, completely booked. Right? That's what she's telling me. It's completely booked. No permits available. And I'm like, well, I'm here right now and nobody's around me. Can I just get the keypad? And she's like, sorry, Sarah, we can't let you go in there. It's completely off limits, and it's completely sold out. I don't get it, guys. This is insane. Don't understand. Completely don't understand the mentality. And that's the reason people do what they do to access some of these areas illegally. Because of this shit, you know? It's ridiculous. You know, don't get me wrong, I love my country, but man, this is, it's out of control, man. It's completely out of control. We're gonna go to our next spot here. We're gonna go check out the Soda Lake. It's a dry lake bed out here. And man, that just pisses me off. You know? This is the end. Alright guys, so we're at the Soda Lake, and back in the day they used to actually extract the soda off this lake to produce sodium sulfate, also called gobbler's salt. So it was a short-lived operation. It's a dry lake bed, but there's a lot of water underneath this crust. You just can't see it. You definitely don't want to drive your vehicle on this Soda Lake, because you will get stuck. I mean, really, really stuck. So we're technically just north of the Carrizo Plain. So this would be on the furthest north portion of the plain. And this is amazing. It's just an old dry lake bed. This stuff is actually dry on the surface, but man, the clay beneath is really wet, spongy. And just by me standing here, I sink. I start sinking right away. So, yeah, it's very interesting. So out here, you get this incrustation built up on the surface. And this is all done by evaporation through the capillary effect. And you end up with this mineral composite that rises up to the surface. So it's definitely some sort of salt, but it's really thin. This takes many years to form through the capillary effect. So there is a lot of water below. You just can't see it. So as the drier material on the surface pulls the moisture up from below, and the evaporation process, you're left with this mineral. Yeah, this is pretty neat. There's another lake bed on the other side of where I parked Dusty. It's not as large, but there is a secondary lake bed, and it's dry as well. It's really crunchy. Got to be careful. I don't want to fall through. Even Ranger's cracking the surface. He's only about, what, 60 pounds, 65 pounds? guys out there, if you find yourself descending off these steep mountains, hills, whatever you want to call it, and you want to let the vehicle do all the work for you. You want to stay off the brakes as much as possible, because yeah, brake fade is no joke. So typically what I do is I put the vehicle in 4-low, first gear, and let the compression or the engine do all the compression braking for you. And then once in a while you can tap on the brakes to further assist you. But usually that's the way you want to take it. You want to take it nice and slow, and it's just safer that way, and it doesn't tear up the trail too bad, you know.
No more can be done. There's people on the streets on the dying breath. The haunting sounds of praise echoes through my brain. My blood turns cold out here in the rain. This is the end. This is the end.
All right, guys. Cheers. So this is our campsite for tonight. We're gonna camp here. We're kind of in between Hurricane Overlook and Midway Peak, which is quite a ways down there. Didn't make it that far. So we found a nice decent camp spot here. It's flat enough, and we're gonna hang out here. So, and enjoy this view right in front of us. It's really hazy out here, but you can still see Soda Lake and the beautiful Carrizo Plain. So I'm gonna enjoy my drink, looking out at this beautiful, incredible view.